Now to a follow-up Fox 23 investigation. On Election Day, so a week ago, we told you about problems at a polling place in South Tulsa where poll workers were not following protocol when handing out ballots.
Voters at the Fellowship Lutheran Church at 69th and Sheridan complained to Tulsa's investigative reporter Janna while she was in line. It just happens to be her voting precinct.
Janna is following up since the Tulsa County Election Board has now had a chance to investigate the issue.
At this South Tulsa precinct, Fellowship Lutheran Church at 69th and Sheridan, some voters dealt with long lines on Election Day.
It was something I'd never seen before. There was chaos, there was lines going everywhere.
Voter Sally Eden says when she signed in, she didn't get a ballot from that poll worker like she normally does. She had to go to a different line to do that. It's something I experienced too when I voted there.
When I was there between 9 and 10 a.m., there were 3 lines depending on your last name. For me, I was in the far left line. I signed my name, showed my ID, and after that, they sent me maneuvering through all these people in these lines to go over here to this far right line, and that's where I got my ballot. When I did, the guy asked me, "Did you sign in?" And I said yes, and then he handed me a ballot.
Here's an example. See this guy in the reddish colored shirt? He signed in the far left line and then moved through 2 other lines to get to the far right line to get his ballot.
So the honor system.
It's the honor system. And she even made a comment to me saying, we're hoping that people are doing the honor system here.
Are you concerned?
Oh, anybody can walk in and just go vote.
On Election Day, I called the Tulsa County Election Board Secretary, Gwen Freeman, about it.
Apparently, at some point, they made an arbitrary decision to come up with their own configuration for how their lines should work. And thanks to you calling me, let me know kind of how it was going. That configuration was not what we trained them to do. It's certainly not protocol.
Gwen told me she called the precinct workers about it right away.
That's horrible. Things need to change. Things need to get fixed.
I went back to the precinct mid-afternoon, and workers had changed things. At the same line where you sign in, you also got your ballot in that same line. That's the way it's supposed to work. But it still left the question, did some voters get ballots without signing in? Gwen told me she would investigate further, and I followed up with her.
This shows a total of 1,576 voters.
And I'm sorry, what is that again?
This is the tape from that machine.
Gwen says she took all 3 registry books from that precinct and counted all the signatures. The printout from the precinct shows 1,576 ballots cast, and the number of signatures, 1,569. That leaves 7 ballots up for question. Gwen says after you show your ID, the poll worker writes initials to show which ballots you get, and then you sign your name.
They'll ask you, Janna, would you please sign right here?
But she says sometimes the registries will show the signatures are missing.
If they forget, and many, many times they do, oh my goodness, I forgot to have Susie sign in when she came in, but she was issued ballots, right? So that does happen every single election, large or small. Especially in a larger election, it's going to happen more because our precinct officials are under a lot of stress and strain to get through the lines.
Gwen says after going through all 3 registry books, poll workers forgot to get voter signatures 7 times. She showed me each one.
So I'm going to go through those with you. Here's one right here. Ballots were issued, no signature. Then we get to, that's 1. This is 2. The confirm address is on there. Likely they were filling out their paperwork. They issued them the ballots, but they forgot to have them signed. That's 2.
Here's what it looks like. I blurred the names around it for those voters' privacy. You can see the initial for the ballots, but next to it, no signature.
We went through, based on the information that you gave us, to make sure that nothing had slipped by. And according to what we can look at on these records, it came out on the nose.
So even though it could have happened, you feel confident it did not happen?
It did not happen.
Gwen says with how the poll workers had initially set up the lines, things could have gone sideways. She plans to talk to the workers to make sure this faulty setup doesn't happen again.
We will have additional follow-ups once we get through this post-election week. I think it's my duty to find out, and make sure that it's done correctly.
In Tulsa, covering news that matters, Janna Clark, Fox 23 News.
Gwen says precinct workers get a full day of training before Election Day.
Do you have a tip or issue that you think Janna Clark should investigate? Let us know. Email FOX23 Investigates at FOX23.com or call 918-388-5354 or search FOX23 Janna Clark on Facebook.